Hey, welcome to your practice today. This is a quick stretch session for co-sleeping mamas. Those of us who sleep in that cuddle curl position all night long can cause some hip pain. That's probably why you're here. And we're going to spend the least amount of time possible in the most efficient way to stretch our hips and hamstrings and outer legs and inner thighs in this quick nap time session. Okay, so we are going to start on our knees. I'm using a blanket because my floor is pretty hard, so you can use one too, or if you're on carpet, you maybe don't need one, but we're gonna be on the knees a little bit, so that's why. So we're gonna start in toes pose here. So I'm on the knees, the toes are tucked underneath of me. Now, for some of us, this might feel like way too much sensation. If that's the case, put your hands on the ground. So just go where you need it so that you can spread out those toes and really stretch through the bottoms of the feet. We'll just take a couple of deep breaths here, and then we'll get into the juicy stuff. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. And then shift forward so you're on your hands and knees and untuck those back toes. You're going to step your right foot between your hands. So we're going into lunge position. Now your hands are on the ground, and I want you to slide your back leg back. Your right knee is roughly over your heel, and then put your hands onto your front thigh and rise up. Now we're gonna go all the way forward into this, as deep as you can into the stretch, and then you're gonna rise out of it. Pull yourself up so that your knee comes far back, and then go forward all the way and rise up. And again, go forward, rise up. Now go all the way forward and come somewhere in between those two. So rise up just a little bit. And as you do that, it should feel like a gathering in of your hips, a squeezing in. So there's a strength component. Your core is engaged. Your hands can still be on your front thigh. Your toes are spread. A lot going on here. We're working to kind of keep the right hip drawing back so the hips are squared forward. So you might feel this a lot on the front of the left hip, those hip flexors. Now, if you want more, you can then go deeper forward into it. And then you can add on arms if you want. Maybe even interlace your hands and keep your thumbs and index fingers together and really reach on up. And then put your hands back onto your front thigh, and we're going to straighten out the right leg as we shift back and put your fingertips on the ground. Then right heel is going to be a little further back than we want it, so you're just going to take that leg forward. So you could literally lift up your leg and take the foot forward a bit. So the goal is to have your hips over your left knee, right? So you're not too far back. I see this sometimes. You're not there. If you're more upright, you're going to get a lot more out of this. Flex your right foot. Now draw your right hip back. Lengthen your spine so your shoulder blades move back. Your chest moves forward, but then notice if you're looking up, maybe you're looking at the screen or you're looking forward, I want you to look down at your right foot. That way, the back of your neck is long. Maybe even you look down more at your right shin. Draw the right pinky toe back more. You might stay here. This might feel like plenty of stretch. Or you might bring your hands over to the right side if you want more. You just need to go where, you need to meet yourself where you're at, not try to like meet me where I'm at or where you want to be. You need to go where you're reaching your limit in a safe way. And then the more time you spend stretching every day, the deeper you'll be able to go, the deeper you'll need to go in order to feel more stretch. Now bring your hands inside of your right foot. We're going to go into a lizard lunge. You're going to bend your right knee and then heel toe your right foot over to the right and plant your hands flat down on the ground. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and take your back leg as far back as you can and then untuck the toes again. So we have several different stages here of our lizard lunge. This might feel like plenty, and you're always welcome to kind of move around. I always like to find some dynamic movement at first. You might put your forearms on the ground or on blocks if you have them, or a pillow, something to give you some height. Blocks are very much worth having at home if you don't have them. A good tool to have for stretching, for yoga as well. And then you can also roll onto the outer edge of your right foot if it's okay with your knee, and let your knee open to the right more. All right, next stages, if you want, is you can come back up onto your hands. You can push into your inner right thigh with your right hand. So you're twisting and rotating to the right. Just make sure you're not sinking into that left shoulder. So can you draw your left shoulder back? Then, if you want, you could bend the back knee and grab onto the foot. If your quadricep muscles are a bit tighter, those are your thigh muscles on the front, then this might feel near impossible. And if it does, just stop trying and just go to where it feels good, because we only have a short amount of time when our babies nap, or maybe that's just my baby, and we want to maximize it. So I don't want you to be struggling and trying to do something that you can't do, but going where it's going to feel good for you, and then eventually you might be able to grab the foot here. Deep breaths. And just thank yourself for showing up and taking the time to do this, because I know it's not easy to find the time. But you're here now and you're doing it, so congrats. If you have the foot, you release it. Put your hands back to the ground. Into pigeon pose. Heel toe your right foot over to the left. Set your right knee down. The right shin does not need to be parallel to the front of the mat. It can be at a diagonal. Again, you're going to lift your back knee and scoot your back leg as far back as you can get it, and then untuck those back toes. Look over your right shoulder, and this is going to help you kind of bring your right hip back more, so you might notice that you can feel more there. And then look forward again. Either stay here or put your forearms on the ground. If you need or want more, you can maybe put your head on the ground, reach your arms forward. And whatever comes up right now, whatever you're feeling, I just want you to breathe through it. You are so capable of that. Just breathe. Can you disengage the muscles of the face a little bit? Rise back onto your hands if you're not there already. And slowly step back or go back into tabletop where we started, on the hands and knees. And just notice a difference between the sides. The right side might feel a lot more open now. So let's even it out. Step your left foot between your hands. And press your hips forward a bit so you can feel a stretch on the front of your right thigh. And then put your hands onto your left thigh and rise up. And then go all the way forward, and then up and out of it, and then forward, and lift, forward, and lift. And let's do it one more time. Go all the way forward, and then come up halfway and squeeze your hips towards each other. Beautiful. So we're stretching those right hip flexors, and we're strengthening too, because those are really engaged here to hold us. And then reach your arms up if you'd like. Maybe you do what you did on the other side, interlacing those hands and reaching. So we get this kind of opening through the torso, the rib cage, creating space in the rib cage so we can even breathe better. Take an inhale, and then exhale, hands onto your left thigh, and we'll straighten out the left leg. Hands to the ground, keeping your spine long so you're not rounded here. You're kind of like sticking your butt back in space. That's going to tilt your pelvis forward. Slide your left heel forward. Pick it up with your hands if you need to. Slide it forward. Lengthen again. Draw your left hip back. And try to keep your neck neutral by looking down. It's good to become aware of how often we're kind of engaging those neck muscles or cranking the neck up when we don't need to be. That might help us have less pain in the neck. Option to bring your hands over to the left side. You want to keep this tiniest bend in your left knee. Like it's not visible to the human eye, but you can feel that a little bit of engagement there. Good. Then we're going to bend the knee and come into lizard. So heel toe your foot to the left, slide your back leg back. Take a moment to rock side to side a bit, arriving here. Or maybe you come down onto your forearms. Maybe you roll onto the outer edge of your left foot, letting your left knee open to the left. Option to come onto the hands and put your left heel of your hand, palm, on the inner thigh. Roll your right shoulder kind of back and down more, so there's more engagement through your arms rather than sitting into the bones. Option to bend your back knee and grab onto your foot. Find your deep breath. You're almost done with this stretch session. Stay with it, not just physically in it, but mentally too. Where is the mind going, and can we keep it just right here? And then we will bring the hands back to the ground. Heel toe the left foot over to the right. Come up onto the fingertips, slide your back leg as far back as you can, and look over to the left. You feel that on your outer left hip. Face forward again. You could stay, or you can put your forearms down, or maybe go all the way down. We're not here for long, so just be fully in it, and deep breaths. Just be aware of the sensation. Be aware of the mind. Come back up onto the hands. Slowly come into tabletop. Wiggle the hips a bit. And we'll come into a frog pose. We're going to take the knees wide. So I'm going to turn and face this way because the ground is too hard for my inner knees. So maybe you put some padding under the knees, right? And then take them wide. Feet flexed. So the heels are like right behind the knees. The feet are flexed. And either stay on your hands or you could put your forearms on the ground. We're not here for long. I know this is an intense stretch. So we're stretching through the adductor muscles. Those are the inner thigh muscles. And those, on a lot of us, especially during and then after pregnancy, are probably weak and tight. So working on strengthening them is good too, but we're not going to have time for that today. But I actually have an adductor strengthening video, and I will link that below so you can check it out. Right now we're working on just strengthening and stretching and breathing into those inner thighs. So as you inhale, imagine you're breathing in through the inner thighs and then exhaling out of the inner thighs. Just a visualization to help us bring awareness there and softening there. For 3, 2, and 1. Come back up onto your hands and really slowly we make our way out of it. I think it feels good to be on the toes here. So tuck the toes and kind of lift the knees and maybe round. And then we're going to a forward fold. So I want you to stand and fold and bring your feet hip distance apart, wider, actually wider than hips. So take them nice and maybe like 4 fists apart from each other. If you were to measure 4 fists and fold, and then walk your hands over to the right side of your right foot. It's going to be still in front of your right foot, but over on the right, like at a diagonal. And then bend your left knee and fold over your right leg. This is like one of my favorite stretches. So simple, but pretty profound on the outer right leg. Shift your weight into your toes more. Ooh, that should help you feel a lot more. And everyone's bodies are different. So here I definitely have a lot of tightness on my outer leg. And if you do too, this should feel really good. Or maybe if you're not used to stretching, it doesn't feel good yet. It might feel uncomfortable, and I promise if you keep doing it, it'll feel good. That's the interesting thing about stretching. It doesn't feel good, and then it becomes like a necessary part of our day. Switch sides. Walk your hands over to the left. Bend your right knee, and you're folding. See if you can just shake out your head so that you know that your neck is completely relaxed. Shift your weight into your toes. Again, relaxing that neck. It's part of the efficiency of this practice. Yes, we're stretching our legs, but then we're also stretching the neck and the back, lower back, upper back, shoulders. And come back into center. Bring your feet a little closer together now. And then fold forward over your legs. And then we'll slowly rise up to stand. Slow, slow. Head comes last. Okay, I hope your legs feel nice and loose now. If you do this practice every day, there is a good chance that you won't have that hip pain. At least that's my experience. The days that I don't stretch, the hip pain comes back at night. And then when I stay consistent with stretching just for 10-15 minutes, I don't have the pain at all. So I really, really hope that's the case for you too. And if you liked the video, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. And then if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and we can continue practicing and moving together. Best of luck to you, and I'll see you next time.